Ayes have it. The question is that the amendment, the question is that clause 5.1 as amended stand part. As many of that opinion, please say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. Right, honourable members, we now move to the amendment to Schedule 1. So the question is that the amendment to Schedule 1 to the item relating to Vote Canterbury earthquake recovery set out on SOP number 246 stand part. I call the honourable member Stuart Nash.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. Again, there's just a few questions, as the Minister alluded to. We're all acting in good faith with regard to the Canterbury earthquake, and there's no query around the process. And if I may take a few seconds, Mr Chair, it's very good to see the Minister actually standing up and taking a call when there are genuine questions. And I did mention this earlier. I was talking to an older, since retired MP, and he was talking about the process in the House, and he said he was a little dismayed that during committee stage, when genuine questions were actually put up by the opposition, that ministers actually didn't take the call. But you find old hands like Peter Dunn often stand up, and it was good to see the Minister, Bill English, who has been in this House for a long time and obviously respects tradition, actually stand up and answer some of the questions that the opposition put there. So I thank the Minister for that. There are just a couple of questions I have around this. Like I said, I'm not passing judgment at all, but I'd like to talk about the non-departmental capital expenditure of $3 million for Canterbury earthquake demolition-related property purchases. Again, where does this come from? In terms of property purchases, what is actually the process around, I assume Sierra or the government, purchasing a property? Is this perhaps if it's not insured or it can't ever be built on again? Or, how will these properties be identified? Because as we well know, there's a significant portion of the CBD, and again, we're not even necessarily talking about the CBD here, but a significant portion of the CBD and a significant portion of residential properties that have been demolished and can never be built ever again. Okay, well, about the CBD here. And $3 million really is not much money at all. In fact, it barely buys a decent commercial piece of real estate now. So I wonder what that $3 million is about, or why it's there, or how it will be identified. Will they be identified by Jerry, by the CEO of Sierra, by the demolition team? I mean, the demolition team. No,
the member referred to an honourable member by his first name.
Oh, sorry. By the Honourable Jerry Brownlee. Or will they be identified by the insurance company? I mean, again, it's just a process question, but $3 million is not a lot of money at all. I understand, I could be wrong here, I understand about 95% of buildings in the CBD are covered by insurance anyway, and I am assuming, and again, correct me if I'm wrong here, I am assuming that insurance is going to pay out whether it's demolished or rebuilt, or whether it can never be built on again, or whatever circumstance. And again, I could be wrong, and maybe this $3 million is just to top up insurance costs, or maybe again, it's to buy buildings that are owned by the government. Maybe in Christchurch the government actually owns building down there, and this is part of that. But again, I have absolutely no idea, so it'd be great if the Minister could clarify that. And in terms of 929, we're talking about the $27 million of Canterbury earthquake property demolitions and related costs and compensation. I think the Minister alluded to this, and I don't think anyone really knows the cost of demolishing a significant part of Christchurch CBD. And it would take a very brave person to stand up and say it's going to cost X amount of millions. And, it could be 37 million, it may be 17 million. But again, I'm just curious to know how this figure was arrived at. The Minister outlined the process for bringing this to the House, which was hugely appreciated. But, I know when you're estimating work on and just a refurb of a standard commercial building, you get a quantity surveyor in, and you go through that whole process, let alone actually assessing the cost of demolishing the CBD of one of New Zealand's largest cities. So I just wonder if, for example, Fletcher Challenge came up with this, or there was a firm of quantity surveyors, maybe QV Online, or it really was, the experts came to the Minister and said, look, Minister, we have absolutely no idea whatsoever. We think it could be $30 million, we don't know, but we know you've got to put a figure in here. So it is actually recognised. It's the classic case. Rolls-Royce, for example, never valued their brand, but they put $1 on the books just to show that it did have a value, because they had absolutely no idea. But to assign a value meant that it was worth something. And again, is this the case here, where the Minister says, well, look, we need to have something in the estimates. We have absolutely no idea how much it's going to cost. Let's put in $27 million. And as the Minister said, we all agree, we're not going to quibble about this. I mean, hell, if it ends up to being $37 million, that's tough. But I don't think there's going to be any New Zealand demolition company that's going to rip off the government, that's going to rip off the taxpayers of Canterbury. So this is going to be done, I know, I'm assuming, but I know, in a good commercial, sound way. But was there a process, Minister, around that $27 million? Thank you very much.
I call the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Thank